Alrighty. Alright. We are back working on the car. It's the 27th of December, so a couple of days after Christmas now. So, Merry Christmas. Haven't done anything on the cars for the last few weeks actually, so I thought I'll get out and do something today. Got the rest of the week off, back to work next Tuesday. So I thought today what I might do is get the coilovers in. I bought some, I think I said in the last video I was going to get some suspension. I finally bought some coilovers. I've got some BC Racing ones. So they've been sitting in the room for about 3 weeks now. I've been putting them off because I wanted to do a couple of other things while I was under there, and like a couple of other suspension bits, just some sway bar links and things like that, but I haven't ordered anything. And I sort of want to get them in the car because I hate driving it around at this height. So I might just get them in, and all those other things I can do as I sort of drive. It's not hard to lift the car up and change a couple of things out. So, but plus I also need to do the diff bushes in the near future anyway, probably in the next month or so. I'll probably look at doing those. So I might be able to get a few bits at the same time done. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to get the coilovers in and bring it down a little bit, so it might sit a bit nicer and hopefully drive a bit nicer, because it drives nice, but all the shockies in this are fucked, and they have been since I bought it. So now, when I did buy this, it was from sort of a bush place in the middle of the bush, so there's a lot of dirt and grime up in the wheel arches. So I'm going to spin it around, put it on some axle stands here in the middle of the driveway, and I think I'll do it all here. But I want to get the wheels off, put on some stands, and get the high pressure hose in and just clean all the wheel arches. I've just got some black spray paint just to make all them look pretty again. Doesn't hurt to clean. It doesn't hurt to clean things up while you're at it. So we'll get that started. Now, I've showed this car absolutely no love over the last couple of months since I've had it. You can see it's looking pretty grotty, but yeah, it's gonna start getting looked after now. I've got to get rid of that one that's just sitting there, and then I can get stuck into this one like properly. I'm gonna polish this one up like I did that one, cut it first and then polish it, and yeah, but yeah, let's get this done anyway. Electric seats are cool, but they're so slow. The more I drive this car, the more I'm falling in love with it. Love this thing. I'm thinking about doing a little review install thing on this whole ICC unit. I've had it in the car for probably, I don't know, a month to 6 weeks, I'm guessing. And I've had no issues with it. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Exactly a standard win, but we're still going to play a game here.
You can hear the fan in this thing. It's a bit annoying. That little knocking. Does it when it wants to. And I ended up putting that little bass knob in as well for my subs there when I did the stereo. Sounds mint, but I've just got to, still haven't done my sub box yet because it doesn't fit, but yeah, that's another job for another day. Alright, we've spun him round. Just got to go get the jack and the jack stands and get him up on some stands, get all the wheels off, and then I can get the hose and get in the wheel arches. Alright, get some tools and chuck them on the trailer, take them around the front. Bit of a pain having to do it out the front, but it's only because it's a sort of the levelest ground I can get where I'm not going to wet everything, because I don't really want to wet everything in here. It's all ready to go. I just need to get the wheels off really, so put this thing up in there. Now, battery might be handy for the Hugger Dugger if I can find one. They're right there, dumbass. Get the big one. 2 more axle stands and we'll be sweet. One, and there's the other one. These are my brothers, these ones. But yeah, cheers Ronnie, I'll give them back to you when I can. Alrighty, that's about it. You can see how pooey it is in there. So I wanted to really get in and give it a good hose out before we do anything. Alright, she's all off the ground, got the wheels off, got the karcher out here, got the big pressure washer, but this one should be fine. It's just to get all this crud off. So I'm going to run out of time with water, so I need to get this done. So I'm going to put the camera down and get it done. See in the back, it's pretty grotty. Just want to get all that shit off, and then we'll have something decent to sort of work with and put the coilovers in. Pretty straightforward. Alrighty, pretty happy. Ran out of water right at the end. We managed to get it all done. Got in there and got all the poo out. Just the dust and grime. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not going to be detailed or anything, but it's just going to hit it with a black can just to make it look a bit tidy in there. So I'll just leave it for a little while, let it all dry, and then we'll hit it with some black cans. But pretty happy. Been wanting to do that for quite a while because there was a lot of grime in here. So I'm glad it's all done. Alright, we've been inside for over an hour now. Everything's dry. Ready for a lick of paint. Alright, I've started taping up the lines, but I think what I'm going to do instead is start pulling it apart. We'll get the shock out, the old one, and then we've got more access to get in behind and spray behind there as well. Now all it is to get these out, it's pretty easy on these cars. It's an 18mm bolt here, and all it is to get the shocky out is there's 3 bolts on the inside, just under the ECU and the engine bay, and just that one big bolt there. When you disconnect the upper ball joint, this whole arm can just bounce down and you'll be able to get enough to get the spring out. So let's get into that. Alright, move over to this side. We've got the 10mm on, so we'll just move this coolant bottle out the way. That's all you need to do. Just sit it out the way. There's the 3 bolts we need to get to. Now we'll just take these out. The reason we do this is just so when we lower it from the bottom and loosen it off, when we lower it down, these will just fall out. So just do these first. Alright, now down underneath, taking the top 3 out, so we just get this 18mm bolt off the upper ball joint. And then once you get the bolt out, that should separate pretty much straight away. There it is. We'll just sit it in there to hold it still while we get the bottom bolt out. Next is the big bolt that holds the bottom of the shocky in. It's a 24mm bolt. The head of the bolt is a 24, and it's a 22mm, I think, on the other side. But you need to use the long socket because of the amount of thread that sticks out. Beautiful. Just take that bolt all the way out. Alright, so once that bolt's out, this is just a preventative thing now, just to take the wheel speed sensor out, which is just here. Just don't want to get it caught when we pull out the shocky. So just as a precautionary, we'll take that out, which is just a little 8mm. And these can strip really easy, these little bolts. They're just nice and simple. And there he is. So I've just left the brake calipers on. I haven't had to undo those. So just be careful you don't put too much tension on these hoses because they're rubber and they can split just while that's hanging with the weight on it. But it should be fine. So now what we're doing, put some downward pressure on the lower control arm. This whole strut should pop out. So as you're pushing down on this lower arm, you want to try and get the fork of this shocky up over the lower arm, and just don't pinch the wire for the speed sensor. See if I can do it. Just like that. Get that out of there, and we'll pull him out. Now that they're out, I'm just gonna get the rattle cans and go to town. Get some gloss, some matte black in there and just make it look a bit pretty. So we'll do that. And all we're using to spray in there is just this fiddly bit stuff from Bunnings. I think it's like $5 a can. So we've got a few cans of that just to make it a bit nicer in there. Just bombing everything with some matte black. I've got some gloss black. Probably try and do some of the components with a bit of gloss. Now it's not for anything special, but it's just to make it look a bit tidy in here, because I hate the poo brown on everything. And I think with the new shocky sitting in there, it'll look nice and clean. I'll put the camera down and do some painting. Alright, that's most of the matte black done. Just going to get some gloss and get it onto this control arm and a bit onto this spindle here. If I've got enough, I'll squirt some onto the lower arm and that'll be it. We'll look at putting in the new coilover. Well, that's almost this side done. I've done a bit of gloss on the spindle, a bit of gloss on the upper arm. Got another bit of gloss on the other side in the can to try and get the rest of this lower arm. And then we'll just look at getting the new shocky in. Alright, finally get to put the coilovers in. Just came in, had some lunch, well, some breakfast. The car's been drying, so just gonna have a look at these. I've had them out before, well, pulled one out just to have a look, but I haven't actually taken them out of the box. Yeah, these are the extreme drop version, so they just have a shorter body than the normal ones, which means it can be lowered pretty low. Not that I'm going that low, but I got this one because from what I've seen online, you pretty much just want to go these, because if you want super low, you can get that really low, and even if you wind them up, you can still be quite low, but at a nice comfortable height, which is what I'm sort of after. I don't want it slammed. I want it to just sit nice and still have plenty of movement for the shocky to do what it needs to do. So I think I'm pretty much going to put them in out of the box without adjusting anything. So yeah, I'm going to chuck them in pretty much straight out of the box without adjusting anything, and hopefully it'll sit just nice without having to really piss fart around. But yeah, good thing is they're fully adjustable, so yeah, you've got that much, well, I'm not sure how deep this has gone into here, but this the bottom of this part here threads up the body to bring the whole thing shorter. But what we'll do is we'll get the front ones out and lay these next to them just as a comparison and see how much shorter they are straight out of the box. Just get the rest of them out. See what we're dealing with. Here's the rears. So that's quite a short shocker that is already. 32 clicks of adjustment apparently. So I'm pretty much going to have these, I reckon, on the softer side, softer than halfway. I want it to be quite a soft ride, but hopefully they'll still hold and keep it quite solid on the road. I don't want that firm, horrible drive feel. I still want it to be reasonably smooth if we can get it. Yeah, pretty sick bit of gear. So while we're here, just have a look. So that's the rear shocky. So it's what they call a divorce setup on the rear, and that's the way the car's designed. So obviously the Falcon has a spring separate to the shocky, so you don't really want to go putting true coilovers in the rear, because all you've got is that little shocky mount in the rear. So if that shocky mount is holding your shocky and your spring tension, it's a lot of weight that's going into where the car wasn't actually designed for. The car was designed to have a spring sitting in with a shocky. So this is really the correct way to go in these cars. So yeah, but yeah, you've got they're fully adjustable. You've got some adjustment here for how firm or soft you want the ride, and obviously a lot of height adjustment as well. And you can adjust the or take the collars out of the springs, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll chuck those straight in as is. So we've got the front of the car all painted up outside. We'll go put these front ones in, and that'll be that done. Then we can start on the back and start cleaning the back up and getting some spray in there to get the back ones in. Alrighty, ready to put the new ones in. We've just gone through and measured everything with the verniers or calipers, whatever you want to call them. These are identical, so they're the same height. We've set the dampening to the same setting on both of them. So now it's time to chuck them in. I've set them to about 15. They have 32 clicks on them, but I want them quite soft. So for a start, we'll put them on 15 and go from there, and hopefully that'll be good enough. But my main concern is I don't want it too low. I'm just going to put them in straight out of the box. So just hoping they're not too low. But we won't know obviously till we get them in. So get stuck into it. Alright, so first thing, I'm just going to sit the wheel speed sensor in its hole, just so we can put the new shock over the cable. I'm going to put them in from the top first, see if that'll work. So I'm just going to sit it in and get a couple of nuts on from the top just to hold it in place. And I've just cleaned up all the bolts with a wire wheel, just so they're all nice, and soaked them in some WD so they're ready to go in. But I'll get up top and put some nuts on that coilover just to hold it in place. Alrighty, just got the nuts on the top, so that's just hanging in there now by there. The fitment on these is fucking amazing, so that's beautifully in there. Real happy so far, good quality. Alright, all I've done is I've put the jack underneath the lower arm. That's hanging from the top, just loosely. So I'll jack it up until I can get this rear bolt in, and then that's him. There we go. Alright, got the bolt in, nuts on. That's basically job done. All we're going to do now is pop this brake line back into the bracket here and put the top ball joint back in. Bob's your auntie. Alrighty, got the upper arm in, just got to get the last bolt in for the wheel speed sensor. So that's basically it. The whole assembly's in, everything's loose, the bolts aren't tight. But I'm just going to let it hang like that, take the jack out and we'll go do the other side, get it to the same point, and then I can set the torque wrenches up and torque these up to spec. Alright, pretty happy, we're getting there now. This side's all in. Again, it's all loose, everything's loose. We're just going to get the jack underneath now and get some tension on the suspension and torque it all up to spec. Alright, what a mission the back was. Ended up having to take the bolt off down the bottom. Had a bit of a break earlier, so we just sort of tinkered along and got it all cleaned up, got it sprayed up. Just about ready to put the lower control arm back on and then get the actual new stuff in. It's getting late now. Been out here for a good part of the day, well most of the day actually, but not actually going full on, just been doing little bits at a time. I cleaned up underneath and sprayed under the spare wheel bit as well, so it just looks a bit tidier. So now we've got to fit the rear stuff into the back. But I think first I'll get the bolt in the lower arm and start getting it all back together. Alright, obviously it's the next day now. Went inside and had dinner last night and it got dark, so I couldn't really film putting the rears in. I've got it all in, all went in nice and smoothly. Only last thing was I had to piss fart around, and I forgot to put the splash guards on and the mud flap, so I had to, and I already put it down on the ground, so I had to get it back up and take the wheels off just to put that shit back on. So that was a bit of a pain, but it's all done. It's sitting where it's all set to, sorry, out of the box. So the back's really good, but the front is a bit too low for me. It looks nice, sort of looks a bit too low, but yeah, just glad it's all in. Went pretty smooth. Now it's just time, I'll have to get a wheel alignment booked in and take it down. Like I said, I've got the rest of the week off of work, so I'll get that done in the next few days. Probably won't drive it around too much. I've got other cars that I can use, so just park this one up. But yeah, pretty good job in the end. Happy with the end result so far. Now it's to test drive it and see how it goes. Ew.